What it do, folks? What it do? Team No Sleep. Tuesday. It's February. It's Black History Month. Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
Salute, baby. Salute.
Yes, sir.
Salute
Yes,
all day.
sir. I
Every
got
day.
I got all black on today. Wearing my focus. So in homage and respect, brother. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush and get the lollygag, and we gonna get into it. I'm gonna put a timer on the screen too, to keep me on track. You can talk all you want to, but we want to make sure that I keep focus. Keep on task. Uh,
Uh,
and I got echo, man. You got me on some regular old Radio Shack headphones or something over there?
nah,
I
man.
hear
I'm
myself.
echo.
Oh my gosh, you got old school
We was just
Craco.
talking, and then all of a sudden you said it's echo. We was just talking how to get echo.
You
I
got
ain't
got
touched
me on
nothing.
some old Craco headphones or something. It's football
Nah,
time,
man.
brother. We'll keep going. It's all right. It's football time. Lot of things happening in the world of professional football. A lot of things happening in the world. I had to repeat that and say it again. Talk to me what your thoughts were on those divisional championship games, right? Kansas City, Cincinnati, San Francisco, and them Rams. Talk to me about your thoughts on how those games were played and how they ended up.
I'm excited the torch is being passed, man. A new generation of guys getting in, whether it be Stafford, which I've been hard on Stafford for the last couple of weeks.
Everybody been
I'm
having
glad he's
hard on
able to.
Stafford.
He jumped over the hump. Now he's in the Super Bowl. Hopefully he can prove himself. Joe Burrow's a superstar. The games were great. They was exciting for the weekend. I don't like it because there's really not a lot of defense. It seems like it's all offense going on in the games.
Mm,
But I mean, that's the new era of NFL. So the games, as far as the weekend was concerned, they was exciting. They did exactly what the NFL was supposed to do.
yeah,
Pump up their brand and do what they're supposed to do to get to the Super Bowl. It's going to be great that the Rams are going to be playing the Super Bowl in their own backyard.
yeah,
I don't
that's
even know if
dope.
that's been done before, except for Atlanta, right? I think the Falcons did it
Correct,
maybe 10 years ago.
correct.
And now the Rams are playing in their backyard. They get to defend their home turf. It should be crazy in LA for the whole week. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited, man, to see some new guys in the Super Bowl. Let's see who's gonna get that ring,
Yeah.
and carry that torch.
Look, I was in LA last weekend for the game. Not for the game, but I was down there at UCLA visiting my daughter, and them streets was crazy. You had 40% Rams fans and 60% 49ers fans. You just did. Right. It wasn't the San Francisco folks flew in to be at the game. They got their heart broke because Garoppolo is Garoppolo. We don't want to go down that path either. I don't want to beat the man while he's down. He just
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that the right teams on both sides, AFC and NFC, won. Right,
yeah.
the ones who came and showed out, and shouts out to goodness gracious, Joe Burrow is a bad man. He's a
He's
bad man.
hey he's the next one up, man. He's the next
Yeah,
superstar up. I think him and Allen from Buffalo
yeah,
definitely guys at the lookout for. But Joe Burrow's just seemed like he took it to the next level. It's crazy, man. He won the LSU, but 2 years ago
yep.
we was watching him on TV celebrate the national championship.
Smoking
two
cigars.
years now we watching him in the Super Bowl. Yeah, so
It's
crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy.
So think about this too, and Burrow's caught a little bit of flack. Tell me what your thoughts on this. I have my thought about this, but he was doing an press interview after the game. One of the reporters asked him about his chain, about his diamond necklace, and he came out and said, "Look, I make too much money for this chain to be fake. These are real diamonds." Even getting Twitter hate on just on that statement right there. Talk to me what you think about that right
I
there,
mean,
and should Burrow be getting flack?
come on, man. He's a new generation, right?
Yeah,
He's part of the hip hop generation, whether people want to believe it or not. He's influenced by hip hop a lot, so he's gonna rock the chain, rock
yeah,
the fur coat, come in there, rock the Air Jordans. That's kind of his swag and his flavor. You guys got to remember, he was in LSU. He was down in the South.
he
So,
was down there with a lot of
them,
folkses.
yeah, a lot of folks, man.
Yeah,
He's been heavily influenced by the hip hop culture. So why not? I mean, he's making, like you said, he's making a lot of money to be fake. He's going to be the face of the franchise. He is the face of the franchise, but he might be the poster boy for the NFL.
mm,
Coming 2 weeks from right now. He's just influenced by culture, man. And I think, and he's proud of it. That's the
yeah,
part I liked about it. I didn't take any offense to it. he's proud to be a part of the hip hop culture or be able to say, I got this swag. This is who I am. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Skin color
Yeah.
doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's irrelevant. I think they were trying to bait him to be, to make it like a cultural thing or like it's a race thing, but it's not. It's just what he does. I think he listens to that kind of music. I think he hangs around those guys that wear those same types of things. He's influenced by what the hip hop generation has done, and I think he's a dude. There's no doubt about it, man. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty much that's it. I mean, I like his answer. He's fine.
Yeah, I
He's
like
fine with me.
I like his swag. I mean, him and Cuddy are apparently tight, right? So him and Kid Cudi go back. So yeah, he's part of the hip hop culture and all that. And look, when you that young, 2 years in the game, in the professional game, and you didn't mess around and took your team to the Super Bowl, man, you can go ahead and walk up straight and have a little swag about what it is that you talk about
Mhm.
because you there, you on the biggest stage. Now, Matthew Stafford been in the league 13 plus years. He finally trying to make something happen. He got some weapons with him, right? He got Odell out there, and Odell and finally found a place where he fits in, right? He's getting his targets. He's not on the sideline crying and getting hit in the head with the
Mhm.
kicking net, right? You know how he was back in the day. So,
Yep.
but we talked about defense a little bit. That defense at LA, they got Darnold. They got your boy
Von Miller.
They got Miller, right? They got the
Mhm.
folks there that'll put you down if they need to, right? Coming in from both sides. That's what they paid the big bucks for, was for Miller on one side and Donald coming up the
Mhm.
middle. You played the game. You know that's where the game is played and won, right? On the O line and the D
Yeah,
line. What are
yeah.
your thoughts
Well,
about that?
like offense gets you the championships, defense wins you championships. Obviously, you got to be able to
Okay.
stop somebody from scoring and let people score. I think the Rams have got the return on their investment. Obviously,
Yeah.
they spent all that money during the offseason to bring those guys in, making sure Donaldson was happy, make sure Ramsey was happy. Brought in Odell Beckham, brought in Von Miller during the middle of the season. They brought all these guys in to make sure they were at this point that they're at right now. So props to their GM, props to them, props to the organization. They did exactly what they wanted to do. I believe right now the Rams are the favorite, and they should be because of the home team.
Yeah.
They got a lot of weapons and all that stuff. But I'm gonna tell you right now, they're the ones that's gonna be playing tight. They have
Yeah.
everything to lose, and Cincinnati has nothing to lose. They're not supposed to win. They're not even supposed to be here.
That's true.
And they're young and they don't know any better. They don't know any better. They don't know that they're supposed to lose. They don't know that they're supposed to be the underdogs. They don't know any of that stuff. They're like we can already play. You got Mixon, you got Chase, you got Burrows on there. Them dudes don't care. They just like
Yeah.
we happy to be here. Let's go make the most of the situation. So I hope it turns out to be a very very good game.
Yeah.
But I think Rams have put everything in it. They bought this team to be there.
And they play,
Cincinnati's
and
developed this
that
team.
stadium that they done bought and that they're gonna play in.
Yeah,
That's multi-million-dollar stadium
yeah.
just to be up in there too.
Everything,
So
they done paid everything to get to this point. The Rams have. They invested. They bet the whole house, the kitchen sink, and everything to get to this point. The Bengals have built themselves up to this point. They've been through the draft. They've been through the things. They've kind of really just developed themselves to get to this point where they're at right now. And I don't think that's going to stop. I'll say it right here, right now. I think Cincinnati. I mean, I'm in LA. I know I'm gonna get shot and whatever like that, or
yeah,
shot at.
don't
But
walk outside. Don't go to
be,
Vaughn's tonight.
no, I think I'm gonna be rooting for Cincinnati, man. I really am.
Okay.
I just like what they're doing, the culture they're doing. But I mean, if the Rams win, I wouldn't be disappointed. Like I'm like, yo, I hate the Rams. But if I
Yeah.
had to pick a team, I'm kind of gonna be rooting for Cincinnati a little bit. I think I like what they're doing. I like that they built their team organically, as you could say,
Yeah.
within football, more so than buying all these high level free agents guys to get them there. And now they're there. So we're gonna see what happens, man. Sunday, I tell the tale. The halftime show everybody's looking forward to, of
Yeah.
course. That's like the biggest thing, man. And I think that's indicative, like you said, Joe Burrow, going back to the same thing. It's going hip hop now. Like when's the first time that the halftime show has been completely all hip hop? And Mary J. Blige, you can say she's kind of hip hop, hip hop queen or hip
Yeah.
hop soul. But I mean, the whole halftime show will be hip hop. Now I know for a fact if they just play one song, it'll be better than what it was last year with that
See,
weekend.
there you go. Right. See, there you talk. Why you bring up old news, messing with the weekend
Hey
right there.
man, because
Bless his heart.
the NFL got an epic fumble on that one. So this got to be better no matter what they do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the event, man. I'm not looking forward to all that traffic and all those people being in down in Southern California. But I mean, it should be great for the city and great for the economy out there.
yeah.
Give them a big boost, a big shot in the arm, especially when they've been dealing with all the COVID stuff and all that within.
That's true. That's true. And I'm gonna give you my prediction, but let me give some shots out to Bishop Oliver here. I appreciate you for jumping in, sir. Yeah, you were with me earlier today. Look, I'm all over these streets, right? I'm out here creating content, trying to keep it moving. Sister Hicks, I see you in the building too. I know you just got off work, but look, go on, sit down, get you something to drink, and relax. Me and Montel gonna chop it up here. Social impact story is where we typically like to start with. So let's piggyback off of what we've already been talking about with what's going on in the LA area, preparing for this game. We it's the ugly truth, and it has to
Mm-hmm.
be dealt with. And probably the way that things are being dealt with is not as appropriate as they probably could be done with. We know there's a
Mm-hmm.
homeless problem all over the globe, right? And especially over by SoFi Stadium. Look, again, I said I was there last weekend. Lot of camps down there, lot of folks down on their luck or whatever the case may be. But the city, the county, the state apparently is making this incredibly large effort to sweep the homeless under the rug for this weekend coming up. So TV doesn't see it. So people coming in spending all this money down in LA don't see it. They're there. You can't sweep them completely under the rug. So this is a huge story here that needs to be dealt with, and I'm glad that a lot of news agencies are talking about this. Right, the hypocrisy of California about sweeping the homeless under the rug just so no one sees them during the game. What are your thoughts on this, man? Because again, you're literally
Yeah,
right down there. You're closer to it
yeah,
right now
yeah.
than I am.
I wish they would bring awareness more so than try to cover it up. You know,
Yeah,
bring awareness of what the situations that are going on. Be able to raise money and be able to have placement things for them. I understand this is an event and they want to make sure to highlight the city in the best possible manner, but scooping them up, tearing down their camps, taking everything they have that they feel that is worth in life keeping, to do that just to make sure this event takes place, or this that they put on this facade about this event or the city is kind of it's disheartening.
yeah, it's not
These
right.
people are down on their luck. We went over mental health issues. They're down on their luck. A lot of veterans or ex-veterans and those things, and people just in with addiction problems and all that stuff are all in this bucket of situation. And now you want to just go in there and mass sweep them up. Like I said, you're taking away some of the one things that they have that they feel are precious in life, the things they keep, but the things they use every day, which would be carts, shelter, portable shelters and things like that, tents and all that stuff. And you're just gonna scoop all this stuff away and just kind of move them somewhere else for the meantime until this game is over. Um, I just wish the city would have planned a lot better. They planned for this event. They planned for a stadium.
Well,
They
they knew it
planned
was
for
coming.
everything coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah, they knew it was coming. So why didn't you plan for this incident, saying we need to put things intact or things in place so when we get closer and closer, we can be able to move them in a situation that's best for everybody, or place them in a situation that's best for everybody, not just take everything away. I mean, it's sad, man. I know you don't have it, but today on the local news they showed where they just moved in and they just took over a camp. They just tore down their stuff, got rid of their stuff,
wow.
bought a bulldozer over there to shove all this stuff that they felt was trash away. And now these people got to start all over. You know what? You got to think. You with your hands, what can you keep?
Mm,
You're basically what can you keep?
yeah,
Try to keep maybe whatever you have for shelter, supervise, and whatever things you have worth money. But at the end of the day, they're telling you we're tearing all your belongings up, tossing them in the trash, and now you got to move and go somewhere. I just think it could have been better planned. I think that's an epic fail for the city of Los Angeles and the mayor of Inglewood as well as Los Angeles. They should have
right.
been well prepared to be able to deal with the situation instead of being in a reactive mode and doing it the way they're doing it now.
Yeah, I mean, I got a feeling it's going to backfire, right? Again, I think folks are going to end up mounting up, right, and gathering together, and in the heat of the activities, pregame, during game, whatever the case may be. I mean, Super Bowl weekend. Look, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. I don't know, right? You kicked me out of yeah, I may not have a physical address, 123 Maple Street or whatever the case may be, but where I reside with my community, maybe on this block, and you try to move us out with force and don't provide me no logical place to go, I would come back Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning and just be back where I be. Again, I could just see maybe droves. I could see another story of these folks, these displaced individuals coming back and saying, look, they can't cover this up. Need to deal with this instead of trying to put a band-aid on the situation and do it more effectively. There's so much. We always talk about there's so much money in the state, right? I mean, so huge and so big. It's the fourth largest income generator on the planet. There's been talk of dividing the state up into two because there's so much. There's got to be, and there had to be, a better way to deal with this than wait until the 11th hour and saying, now we're gonna
Yeah,
kick you out because now it's the weekend.
I agree. Listen, we were just talking about the halftime show. I'm sure that cost us millions of dollars to put that halftime show together.
Yeah,
I'd rather for you to pay $100,000 to an artist that's coming that we really don't know about to put on the show, and spend the other couple of $1 million on the homeless. I mean, at some point, they have to address that situation, and obviously, you got to throw dollars at it at some point. Um, Now, whether they said the NFL can help throw some dollars at it, whether the city just threw dollars at it, or whatever, but throw some dollars at this thing to get it fixed. Not just cover, like you said, not just bandage, but get it fixed. Let's move these people somewhere where they can be comfortable for a little bit. Let's not just move their whole encampment. Let's get them somewhere where they can be, they can get the things they need. They can, if they're addicted to something, get them in the hospitals, get them the treatment they need. If there's mental health, have somebody that could be there to evaluate them. Take them somewhere where it could be where they can, get some real use at it, and they can stay those couple of days, and maybe that's what the thing will be. Take them out of that environment, let them pack their stuff up. Let's move them over here, and now, hey, let's get you the help you need. There's room in LA. I mean, LA is a big city.
right.
You go from Compton to Long Beach to Inglewood to South Central to Beverly Hills. LA's got so many sections. It's such a big community. There's so many places you could take them. But I think if you said, you know what, let's just kind of slowly move these people out and get them help, I think they could have taken charge of it. But again, like you said, the mighty dollar speaks. They want to make sure their city doesn't look a certain way. They're trying to impress whoever they want to impress. These people coming in and spending the dollars. I get it, I understand it, but you have a problem that you have to eradicate, or you have to kind of fix, not just you got to fix it. So I don't think this is a fix. I don't know what's going to become the outcome of it. I mean, obviously they have to do something. And I agree you have to do something, but I just don't agree.
You got to do something. You got to make it as safe as possible, and you want to clean up and sweep up or whatever the case may be. But this may backfire. This may backfire and not look as good.
I don't know if it backfire. I think it's too much money for it to backfire. I just wish they would, just instead of band-aiding it up and then the day after the Super Bowl goes back to being the same. Yeah. Like you don't keep that place clean. You don't mind them moving back in the area. None of those people got help. It's kind of back the same old way that it was. Then I mean, why are you having the Super Bowl there and infusing all this money into the community if you're not going to fix it? You know what I mean? That doesn't make that. That's kind of it's an oxymoron. Like you're going to get all this money. You're getting the city of LA is going to get millions and millions, or maybe even $1 billion.
Think of the Kanye concert. Think of the Kanye concert that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah. From this one event, and the money's supposed to go back to the city to help. The taxes for the hotels, the taxes for the food, all that's supposed to go like to the local environment to help. I hope this helps them fix that problem, not just get rid of it, but fix it. If that's what the money goes to, and that's part of the budget that kind of allows for that, then I'm all for it. But if it just goes back to being the same old thing, the mayor gets his money to keep the city, everybody, just kind of gives a few things to paint, and fix a few streets, then that's not enough. I think they need to be able to do a little bit more with this money, and also let the people of LA and people in Inglewood be privy to see where that money is going to be allocated at and make sure it gets executed the way it's supposed to get executed. People just think it's an event, and the event after the event is kind of all over, but there's so much going to be infused with this money. Like I want to know where it's going. Like where is it going to go? Obviously you got to pay, the SoFi and those people, but after that money just left over, where does it go? How does it help our community? Because if it doesn't help our community, then why are we even having an event here? Go do it in Vegas and have a good day.
Yep, exactly.
So
we will see. I like what mom's saying. There's some smart homeless out there, and they're going to show their smartness on game day. Who knows? We will see what'll happen. Hopefully, it works out for the better. Hopefully, like you say, you correct me in that it doesn't backfire. Hopefully, there'll be some positive momentum that comes out of this as well, man. Because we don't want anybody out there on these streets, and we know some folks are there for whatever particular reason. But let's give them some help. And there's been, like you said, there's too much cash floating around that area to not help your brother and help your sister. So
yeah, and not care.
and then
people
yeah,
just
exactly.
don't care.
That's what I'm.
That can't be the excuse. You got to care.
Yeah.
You have to care because regardless, these people are part of your community. So I'm saying, take a piece of that chunk of that money, put it to where it's supposed to be, and help those people out. And then and make sure it gets executed. As we know, they'll allot money somewhere, but then it gets disappeared somewhere on a shuffle. It shouldn't get disappeared in the shuffle. They should be allowed it. It should be something that's visible to those people in that community, and make sure it gets allotted to whatever the situation or solution may be. It gets allotted there. And I not keep saying the same thing over and over again because we know dollars just disappear. They just disappear when it comes to these events. Just like the lotto. We always thought the lotto was going back to the schools. All of a sudden, lotteries, I don't know where that money goes from the Super Lotto.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying? I hope it doesn't end up like one of those things like just the mystery of the dollar just kind of mysteriously goes away and nothing got built or nothing got concerned in the city of Inglewood and LA.
Yeah. There's too many schools that still have portable buildings out there instead of having. But that's another show for another. We could get into that too. That's crazy, right?
Computers for the kids and all that stuff. Yeah, you need to be something.
Come on, man. How come half of these schools don't have arts and sports and man? See, okay, wood shop and metal shop, but we'll get into that. Oh my gosh. Rich Vibes, I see you talking about, you guessed that we discussed the big talking point already. Well, what you talking about, man? You talking? We talked about the championship games, the divisional championship games. Talked about the Super Bowl. Talked about our predictions. I'm gonna go Cincinnati as well. I'm gonna go with them Bengals because I always like the underdog. Rich probably talking about Mr. Brady. That's what he talking about.
That's the next stuff. That's the next subject. But yeah, we can discuss Mr. Brady.
Football is probably 80% of today's conversation, right? We after Brady, we'll talk about some coaches too. So that's probably what Mr. Vibes is talking about. The GOAT said he's finally said, not not the internet, not Tampa Bay news media, not his daddy. Because his daddy even said, y'all hold off because Tom got to say it himself. But Tom Brady is going to step down 22 years, arguably the greatest person to do what he does at his position. He's got more rings than anybody else playing, I think, ever will. Right? Just the how difficult it is to get 7 championships. It's only with 2 teams, but still to get to the game and then to win the game, and then him being so clutch and being so renowned and remembered for them 2-minute drives, those 30-second drives, right? And those game-winning drives. Tell me your thoughts on Brady finally coming out this morning and saying he's going to hang up the cleats and he's going to spend time with his family because he thinks he's given the game everything that he can give it.
I think he epitomized a whole era of football. And what I mean by that is that era of football where all those quarterbacks were at, they're all gone now. Starting with, the Drew Brees, the Eli Mannings, the Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, Peyton Manning, and now Tom Brady he's decided to hang him up as well. Those whole generation of those guys, all those guys are great quarterbacks. I believe all of them won a Super Bowl except for Phillip Rivers. Which says something astonishing for that era of quarterbacks that kind of came in. And Brady was the best to ever do it. 7 championship rings. I'm sure if he stayed another one, he'd be competing for another 8th one if he came back again. He's leaving the game at a super, super high level of being competitive. And it's okay to call him the GOAT. I think he's the best player to ever lace him up in football. He's there's no argument. People say Joe Montana. People have a legitimate argument there, but Joe Montana couldn't do it 7 times.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jerry Rice couldn't do it 7 times. No walking player has done it 7 times, and has did it in the fashion that Tom Brady is doing.
Yeah.
Me, I would probably, I got other guys that I would rate as all around the greatest player, but it's going to be very hard to argue Tom Brady's numbers, of
True.
not being the greatest quarterback to ever be, and maybe the greatest football player to ever lace him up. So kudos to him. I'm glad he's stepping away at a high level. We didn't see him get beat up or a horrific injury or anything like that. It's time, he wants to be with his family, be with his wife. And he's, like he said, he's done everything he could possibly do with football. There's no other accomplishment he can do except win another championship. And right now, I think it's like, it's time for him to step back and relax with the family and just enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's, salute to the man. Salute to the man. He's done so much for football. The NFL should still be cutting him a check regardless.
Yeah, he should definitely be. Is it Bobby Bonilla? He should be getting kind of that Bobby Bonilla, that yearly $1 million for what he. You think about it, he was picked 199th in the draft.
Mhm.
He didn't get picked where he wanted to go play. He got picked 199th.
Yeah.
In the combine, the man couldn't run. He could still barely pick him up. He got them big feet, but
You know what's crazy? What's crazy? What I watched a special on him today. I happened to catch a special when I was eating lunch. He didn't even know where New England was
That's crazy.
when he got drafted. Like, he didn't even know it was outside. It was Boston. He didn't know anything. He was like, I don't even know where New England is, physically. I don't know where I'm going, where I'm at. And they end up to show what he's done
Yeah.
there in New England and what he's done in Tampa Bay. It's kind of crazy to see, to be in that situation where he was. I mean, obviously, he took advantage of the situation he was in.
Yeah.
He wasn't, like you said, he wasn't picked to be the guy to take over. He was basically drafted to be a backup dude, maybe be in the lead a couple of years.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Drew Bledsoe got hurt. He comes in, saves the day.
Brady was ready.
Brady gets hurt in the championship game. Drew Brees helps him in the playoffs. And then, for some divine wisdom, Belichick says, no, Brady's starting the Super Bowl, and the rest is history.
That's true.
At that point.
Man. Hey, kids who are out there, all y'all out there that are lacing them up, just be ready, because you never know when opportunity comes, because next thing you know, you could be that next one out there. You could be up next. And Brady took advantage of that, right? He studied, he's diligent in preparation, diligent taking care of his body, taking care of his mind, and being locked in. But you gotta think too, just and I've seen some stories about him too, right? Just the fact of, for 22 years, for that period of time, 18 weeks, whatever the case may be, of just football, and being so removed from, again, family, friends, things outside of the game. That's got to be wearing on the psyche as well. And now, what's he gonna do? So I see the Manning brothers, right? I mean, they can step back and they can do a funny little podcast and do play-by-play, but Brady, I think he's just cut a little different. I don't know what unless he's gonna go out and buy a team.
I think, well, from what I understand, Brady's really big in real estate investment. I think that's probably where he'll take his next ventures at in the business. A lot of his, I guess they were saying, his good friends or people his outside circle are really all into real estate investment and all those things. I think he just steps away from the game. He doesn't really need to come and be an analyst. I don't think he really needs to be around the fellas and all that stuff like, before. You also got to understand, man, the psyche of a football player that's been playing for that long. You got to think, since he's probably been the age of 10 playing Pop Warner, all the way to the age he's been now, he's used to, when it gets to August to December, he's playing football.
Mm-hmm.
He's with the fellas in the locker room. He's with the coaches doing their thing. He's on the road bouncing back and forth. He's not used to being that homebody husband,
right,
or counterpart. He's just not used to it. I think this is the next chapter that says, you know what, it's time to, close the chapter of that door and now start this chapter. Whether he gets into doing film, TV, or whatnot, I could see him maybe dabbing in it, maybe so. And then I could also see him saying, you know what, I'm completely walking away from the game. I made enough money. My wife makes more than enough money.
Yeah, I know she makes more than he does. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Giselle making
we got more than enough money, to do anything. So for those months that I'm usually away with the fellas, I'm gonna go on tour the world or do whatever we're gonna go do to go have a good, to have a good time and kind of, it takes I don't know if anyone's out there that's athletes, but I know when you stop playing a sport where it's over, man, you go through a depression. I mean, I know I did. I went through a depression. You go through a kind of a psyche kind of thing, like, men are not able to play anymore, compete at that level anymore, do those things anymore. So I don't know if he's going to go through that. I'm sure he will a little bit. But I mean, he has enough things to occupy himself. I think the only person I've seen transition without that was Kobe. Kobe Bryant, the late great
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
His transition was pretty seamless, but I think most athletes kind of go through that. So I hope he doesn't do that. I hope he's found already what's going to occupy his time and do whatever. And I think he deserves to walk away from the NFL and from football right now, and just kind of just go be whatever Tom wants to
do whatever you want to. Look, you bought your team from what was it, 17-3, and ended up tying the game, and a couple of minutes later, all you needed was another. He was
one play away from going to the Super Bowl.
I was gonna say again, he was almost back in the game, so he did what he did, and he did it at his highest level. And I like what you said about athletes and going through that stage as well, because earlier today I interviewed Dana Lattery, who was a professional hockey player, and he talked exactly about that. Right when he stepped away from the game, he went through that period of darkness, had to deal with that, had to reevaluate himself, self-assessment, and put himself around people who cared about him. Because when you're in the game, you got your people. We've talked about this before, right? You think about it. If he needed a doctor's appointment or something, he picked up the phone, called someone, boom, he can go get that MRI in a minute. Now he's common folk. Takes a little bit more time to go and do those types of common, regular, ordinary types of things. Have a dentist appointment, go to the grocery store, all of that. So going through that can be a huge mental shift for anyone who's been in the limelight. And again, someone like at a Brady level, who again has had squads around him. He's had people around him doing whatever, press and media and handling administrative stuff about them. Now it's just him, Gisele, and their kids kicking it in their house. What's that going to be like, right? When he reassimilates into the home, is right.
Yeah, we're not only talking about him, but I mean Big Ben as well, man. I mean Big Ben.
Yeah.
People don't want to give Big Ben his props. Big Ben is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
Whether people want to believe it or not, he's going to go through the same thing as well.
Yeah.
He may not have played at the highest or has all the accolades that Tom Brady has, but Big Ben did it for 18, 19, 20 years as well, and did it well. Did very well. I mean, let's compare 2 years ago where he was at, or a year ago where everybody was like, he should be out the lead. He's horrible. To where he dialed in, and he had a great year this year. He had a year. His year was better than more than half the quarterbacks that's in the NFL.
That's true. That's true.
You know, for him to hang it up. So I think people need to understand, man. We always talk about mental health. We've discussed mental health. Even though they're superstars and they have money, them and their families and their spouses are going to have to go through a mental health adjustment because for the last 20 years, they haven't been the traditional, what we think as, husband and wife come home and do everything. He's on the road. They deal with things completely different, and now they have to deal with that. So, I mean, it'll be an adjustment for them, but I mean, I think both of them will be able to get over it. Obviously, let's not trip. Money does make things a lot easier.
he may not know where the milk goes in the refrigerator, right? He may not know if it go on the top shelf or the bottom shelf, but with all the cash flow coming in, there's gonna be some milk in the refrigerator.
Yeah, it's going exactly. So that'll help with the situation. But I wish both those cats, man. They done so much for the game of football, and they done so much for the community. I know Tom Brady does a lot in the community, not only in Boston where he was at. I think he does some things in Tampa Bay, but I know for a fact he does some things in the Bay Area. He goes to the Bay Area, he does some things every year out there. So those guys give a lot back, and whether it's just time or money, I'm not quite sure, or both. Kudos to those guys being able to do that. I hope they continue that kind of work, and show us face that way. But I mean, man, salute to both of those guys, man. I hope they, the second part of their life, man, is just as successful as the first part. So kudos to those cats.
Definitely, man. I agree. A lot of movement outside of just star players in the National Football League. We got coaches retiring as well. We got Peyton, Sean Payton doing what he's doing. We got folks leaving, not by choice. We got folks coming back, maybe. Let's talk about some of these cats, and we'll do a kind of a rapid fire on this. But I keep refreshing the
Raiders suck.
screen.
Okay, let's go to
Oh,
Jim
see,
Harbaugh. I'm gonna go
so
Jim
you
Harbaugh
want
first.
to go down the
Okay.
Raiders path? We can go down the Raiders, but I keep refreshing
No.
the screen on this because I love me Michigan, and I'm just trying to
Uh,
see if Harbaugh is going, if he's given the
rather,
opportunity. Apparently, he's gonna come to Minnesota or go to
and I think that's a
Minnesota.
great fit for him. I think
Yeah,
that's a perfect place for him to go. They got a lot of young talent there. Harbaugh's known he can cultivate quarterbacks.
yeah.
Even though they got an experienced quarterback there, I think he can revolutionize that offense. And I think he just has that temperament that will be able to fit in the NFL. Now, my question is why all of a sudden he's leaving Michigan? You know, they're talking about him taking an NFL job, but why is he leaving the job that was supposed to be the job that he wanted for all of his life?
Yes, yeah.
You know, now, you made it to the playoffs, you got over the hump, you beat Ohio State, and now all of a sudden you're saying you're going to leave. I would just question that part a little bit on him, but otherwise, if we're just talking about him becoming an NFL head coach, he's more than earned the right to be a head coach, and he's going to be perfectly fine with the Vikings. I think he can help turn that program around.
Oh, look, he took the Niners to the game, right? He knows how to win, and you're right, right. He finally got over that hump on the college side and got his squad to where they needed. They beat one of the juggernauts. I mean, they haven't toppled Alabama yet, but I mean Ohio State. That's no joke, right? Toppling them, and why would he leave while he's on top? Is it money? I don't know, because the Harbaugh family, they got it. The pockets are deep,
They got some
right?
coin. They're not hurt for money. It's not money. I
So
think for him, man, I think for him it's just he wants to go on that next journey. You know, he's kind of a quirky kind of guy, not in a
yeah,
bad way, but his challenges that challenges him are kind of different than the most people. You know, he went from remember when he left the 49ers, he was still a hot commodity for the NFL.
yep,
Miami wanted him, other teams wanted him. He was like, nah, I think I'm gonna go back to my college and kind of, rejuvenate myself, my juices. And when he went to Michigan, took on the Michigan job. Now he's got over that over the last couple of years, 4 or 5 years. Now he's got them over the hump. Now he's like, I'm ready to take my talents back to the NFL and build that. And I think he got to see the things he likes about both and the things he doesn't like about both.
yeah,
Remember in college, you're losing them every 4 years. They're gone after their 4 years. NFL, you can secure guys and you can build with them and you can do certain things with them. And I think he likes the idea of turning, things that people didn't like into something. Just like he did with Kaepernick. A guy that no one wanted, no one drafted. Bring him in here, and he's becoming, basically he changed the way the quarterback position is being played, or
true.
one of the guys that helped change the quarterback position playing and put him in a situation to be a good quarterback. I think Harbaugh's kind of that guy, kind of like, I want to take on the next challenge. Minnesota's an ideal place. I'm gonna retire somewhere in that great Northwest, somewhere in that area. Why not take this job on? Let me see if I can turn it around, be in the NFL again, and then if it doesn't work, I can either go back down to college again or I can call it quits. So I think this is probably one of his last hurrahs at the NFL if he wants to be successful. And I wish him all the best of luck. I think he's a
Yeah,
very good coach.
yeah. I think he'll be successful wherever he goes. I think he'll definitely be more successful than someone like even like a Kiffin, someone like
Mm-hmm.
well, definitely better than Urban. We'll talk about them Jaguars here in a minute too. But I mean, so who's going to take his spot though? Right? Who out there?
That's the part I
Mhm.
don't know, because that's a high profile job. Like,
Yeah.
you got to
Not
think.
everyone can do that. Not even Chip. I was thinking Chip Kelly, right? Out there at UCLA, and he's done
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
He hasn't done great for the squad, but who's gonna take and play
Who
in the Big Den?
Michigan is one of the top 5 programs in college football, for one. 2, we got to think. Tomorrow's signing day. Whether people, I don't know if they realize it or not,
That's
tomorrow's
right.
official
I
college
didn't look
signing
at
day for
that. That's right.
football. For
Yep.
football. So how does that impact Michigan's recruiting classes coming in this year? I don't know if it does or if it doesn't, but that part of is part of the equation as well. Now, if Harbaugh decides to jump to the NFL, I think they're going to probably hire internally a coach that's already there, because then it doesn't change the platform. But we both know Michigan's always had a high profile coach.
Yes.
Whose name is going to be in there? Dabo Swinney
Ooh.
might take it. He may go from Clemson in there. He always says he has no interest in that, but money talks. Michigan could write a really big check.
Yes, they
Their
can.
alumni can write a really big check, more so than others, more than Clemson. I think he would be a guy that may take over there. Other names being mentioned around, obviously at the side from Nick Saban, any one of those guys could probably get a shot at the job to be there. It just depends on who they want to be able to fit. I like the coach from Northwestern, and I wouldn't doubt if that Cincinnati coach, that's the current coach of Cincinnati, jumps a few states over and goes over to Michigan with the job he's done over in Cincinnati. So
Crazy.
it's going to depend on how fat that check Michigan is going to write to whoever they want to go get. But of course, Harbaugh has to get a job first. And but tomorrow, we're gonna see how things kind of lay out tomorrow after signing day. So it
First
should be
thing
real
tomorrow
interesting.
morning, Twitter gonna be blowing up, and the trending
Blowing
topic
up.
is gonna be Harbaugh and Michigan, and it's gonna be, who knows, he gonna keep both jobs. He just crazy.
Hey, man, it's gonna be crazy with that one.
Man, all right. So that's the big one. We gonna watch that, and yeah, like Quentin was saying, that just trying to figure out who that is gonna be, but bouncing back and forth a little bit here. So college, NFL, we got coaches that are being fired for I don't know, whatever reason. We got Brian Flores out there in Miami, and he mad
The
for, rightfully
dumbest
so.
that might be that's the second dumbest firing I've heard of. The one for the Raiders is the dumbest, and we'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
But Brian Flores is the second dumbest firing of NFL coaches. I thought.
And hopefully he gets some money, because Brian Flores, fired from the Dolphins. He's suing the NFL, and he's suing 3 teams. And I don't know what the other 2 teams are, but I know he's suing.
Giants are one of them. Giants is one, yeah.
But again, for racism in hiring practices, that's his claim, and he should be suing for just stupidity for letting him go. That should be the line item in the litigation suit right there for letting him go, to be honest with you. But we're starting to see a little bit of diversity in offers and potential offers. I'll say that, right? Leftwich out there, Jacksonville, he could be the man with the headset on. If Baalke can get out of the way. Trent Baalke has his guy that he wants to bring in, Vic Fangio, I believe who it was. But this would be a great move for Byron Leftwich, because he was a QB out there, right? So he knows the city. He knows the environment. He's played for the squad. Put him at the helm, and coming from Tampa Bay, right? He's played with the greatest. He knows the game. He knows all these aspects of it.
But I think you're missing the key point. He is definitely qualified for the job.
Yes.
He's not like a run-of-the-mill coach who's just kind of been out there and his name should be thrown out there. He is absolutely qualified for the job. He's been in the Super Bowl twice as an offensive coordinator. Before that, he was a coordinator. I forgot where he was at, but he did great there. He knows the offense. He knows how to build a team. He understands the ins and outs of how to develop a team. Being a quarterback coach and whatnot, like it, he is definitely qualified. The only other brother that I think is more qualified than him that's an OC is Eric Bieniemy. That's the only one that might be a little bit more qualified than him. But Byron Leftwich has history with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why they drafted him?
He took him right there. Look at him, number 7, right there.
Yeah. So I don't see why there's the hiccup in hiring him, except for the GM wants to bring somebody else in. But it doesn't make sense. It would make sense if he wasn't qualified, but he's a qualified guy.
Yeah.
And he can change. Obviously he has championship pedigree coaching because he's been doing it, and he's winning championships. He's been in championship team. So the guy that they want to bring in, I never even heard of him. I don't know where he came from. I don't even know the
Fangio,
guy.
He's over in Denver. About. Yeah, he's over at the Broncos. But Fangio, I mean, again, when you stack them up and you look at the X's and O's and the pluses and minuses, wins and loses, Byron wins. Byron wins.
So why would you not take Byron, who wants the job, instead of taking this guy because he's your friend? That's the part of the NFL, man, that sucks. It's the nepotism. They keep that close boy circle, and it's the nepotism between the GMs and who they want to bring in, who they don't want to bring in. I think that's kind of what happened to Brian Flores as well. Nepotism got the best. He wasn't the favorite guy within the GM's office or the front office, so they let him go, even though he had 3 consecutive winning seasons with the Dolphins. It's that game they're playing, in that good old boys club, and they feel they can do what they want to do. Byron Leftwich is obviously the best and most qualified person for that Jacksonville job. And if they don't hire him, it's going to be another epic fail, I think, just like they did with hiring Urban Meyer. I mean, you can't get right, man. Jacksonville Jaguars just can't get right. They just can't get it right. They want to get it right, so that's on them.
I would think, honestly, that the team, the squad would respect Leftwich more if he came in and let them, right? That it just seems to resonate much more than someone like Big Fangio coming in and trying to take over that already struggling team. They're gonna get the first round draft pick again because they did
Yeah,
so bad. And you need someone who's got history, who knows again the environment, who knows the fan base, who can come in. I played that position, so I can talk to my ace, my number one QB out here, and we can resonate and we can draw up game plans. I mean that just that makes sense. And again, like you're saying, he's overqualified, more than qualified.
yeah,
He can do the job, but like you say, you want to bring in your buddy to try to fill his position, and that's not how you win. You can't always win with your friends, right? You got to make the right, and this is a business. You got to make the right business decision,
yeah.
and sometimes your partner is not the one that you should be working with. But we'll see. Go ahead, man. You want to talk about them Raiders, man? I'm
Yeah,
upset
man,
about them. They're
I'm
not even
so
my squad. I'm just upset. That don't make no sense.
man. There's no
It's
reason why
stupid.
their head coach should have been let go in order for Josh McDaniels. Don't get me wrong. Josh McDaniels is a very accomplished coordinator. I know they're bringing the GM for New England and think that's going to change something in the Raider culture. The coach that they had in place, I don't think people understand the adversity that he had to go through in order to get them to the playoffs. And he got everyone's respect in that locker room. He's got the attention of everybody that's going there, and he was successful. Latino, Latin brother that got the job, that was doing it, and all of a sudden they have it pulled away from him. I mean, I just think the Raiders again, another epic fail, just a fail in what they're doing as far as trying to build that organization in Las Vegas. I think that was just Josh McDaniel has a name. Okay, good. Well, there was 20 other jobs. I mean, there was 5 other 9, or I should say 7 other jobs that were out there that Josh could have went for. And taking on this Raider situation, I think you already had the best man in place,
Yeah,
and you let him go. So I believe that again, I don't think what's the boy Al Davis' son? I don't think he know what he's doing,
Mark.
man.
Yeah,
He's already
Mark don't know what he's doing, man. He don't.
he don't know what he's doing, man. He hired Chucky. He hired Chucky to a ridiculous contract. Thought that was going to work. Obviously, that didn't work.
Yeah, how'd that
Then
work
then
out for
then,
y'all?
then all the other situations with Ruggs situation going on, and all those other surrounding off the field issues that they had. And this dude comes in there. He not only calms the storm, but he gets some guys playing at a super high level, getting it right, gets them to the playoffs, has some success in the playoffs, and then you're gonna be like, you're not the right guy for the job.
Yeah,
If he
come
ain't the
on,
right
man.
guy for the job, I don't know who is.
Nobody is, right? He got you winning. He got you in the second half of the season, right? He got you to the playoffs after a long time, and you look decent. You're right. I mean, Carr was clicking. It just seemed to work, and I wonder if he stay. Well, I mean, jobs are hard to come by. And yet, I know we talk about them a lot, but those high profile organizational jobs are hard to come. I wonder if he rolls out and goes somewhere else. Maybe he goes to college, right? And as opposed
I
to
mean, I think he has a stellar resume. I know that was his first time being a head coach. He's always been an assistant coach,
yeah,
but I think just to show what he did, and how he did it, man, I think it just speaks volumes to the man's character and his leadership skills and way to do things. I don't know if like you said, I don't know if there's another job out there for him, but obviously, if the Raiders felt you weren't good enough to do it under those circumstances and doing it, and then that good old boys in that good old boys circle, let's just wipe that part off the slate.
yeah,
He's good enough. He's qualified to do the job. He proved himself. He already
yeah,
did that.
true.
Are they ready to have a Latino brother run their organization and be the face? That's the problem. Are they ready to have a Mexican American guy lead the? Just like a lot of organizations have a problem with blackface leading their organization as a coach and being the leadership of those men. I think some of them have a problem having a Mexican American doing the same exact thing. So
That's
yeah,
shameful. That's shameful, to be honest with
it,
you.
it's starting. But it's. I mean, let's keep. There's no other reason in the
Yeah.
world why he wasn't qualified to do that job. He proved it. It ain't like you said, hey, you know what? We're gonna take a chance on you and see if you can prove it, and let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
He got in the worst. He got put in the worst case scenario of a football coach. We're out of the playoffs. We're playing bad ball. Our coaches got fired for racism, and there's all this kind of speculation on there. I lost my number one receiver. I got injuries up the yin yang. Pardon my French. Turn chicken shit into chicken salad, and he did.
Got us into the playoffs, and we winning. We look decent out here, and then you go
And then you're gonna come back
cut.
to the end of the year when I'm saying, okay, the job should be mine. You know, I've
Yeah,
done everything I can do. I proved myself. What's going on? And you say, now we're gonna go another direction.
man, you gonna bring in this dude from the right side from the East Coast who don't know.
Yeah. And like I said, don't get me wrong. Daniels is a good coordinator. He
Yeah,
failed at being a coach the first time.
yeah,
I
true.
guess it's the second time around. But I'm saying, why would you change the identity? You just got your identity as a team.
That's a good point. Yeah, the
You,
whole identity and the whole culture thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
we got the culture identified. This
yeah.
guy, he's knows what's going on. And then you're gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, you developed the iPhone, but you know what? We're gonna go with the guy that developed Samsung. We're gonna go with him. Come on, man.
Make it plain for him, brother. Make it plain for him.
Yeah,
Oh
it just
my
don't. It
gosh.
doesn't make no sense, man. The only conclusion I can think, man, is I know we know for a fact there's racial issues in the NFL, and I think
Yeah.
that's one more. I do believe that's just one more. I don't think they want a brown faced guy, Mexican American, leading their team in that aspect. It's okay to be an assistant coach, be behind the scenes, do all this other stuff, but to be in the forefront
Mm.
and being that guy on the same stage as the Belichick's and the same stage as the Sean Payton's, and you know you're the guy that's got to articulate it. You're the guy that's leading, heading our team in that direction. I don't think they feel confident enough in doing that kind of face. Call it what it is. I don't, they can say
No,
what it
I mean
is.
that's
This is team
reality,
no
right?
sleep. Yeah, this team still no sleep. We can put it out there like that. So
That's what we
I
do,
really
right?
believe. Yeah.
That comfortable conversation no one wants to talk about. But I mean that's the reality, and you know that's out there. You know that's part of it. I mean, that's unfortunate, and that couple of teams just made some bonehead moves. So I mean the Raiders and the Dolphins. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, man. So we'll see what happens, how that all shapes up. Mr. Cox, we see you in the house, brother. Appreciate you for joining. Yeah, man. Tuesday is when we get down here. Team No Sleep. Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. I just switching it up here for 2022. That's just what we're getting ready to get into. Let me ask you about a couple other things, man. We talked about football. We talked about we already touched on the Hall of Fame on baseball last time, right? I wanted to touch
Yeah.
on that, but we already went on to that, and I don't think I'm gonna touch on it real quick. Then I'm going to two other topics. Then let me know if you got something. But I don't think Bonds is getting in.
That's gonna be
I
that's
don't.
gonna be.
I saw a report, and reason I say that I saw a report that there were some old teammates of his from the Giants that were kind of scathing, right? Just talking negatively about his character, talking negatively about him, and it may be haters, right? Again, I told my mom something like this similar the other day. If you're not winning unless you got some haters out there after you, right? So I mean, I think that may be some of it as well, but I'm actually concerned about that, because you're the football guy. I'm the baseball guy. I'm the Pete Rose guy. I think he needs to get in. I think Bonds needs to get in just because I think he deserves it for what he did out there on the diamond. But I think it's a real, it's already been his 10 years, right? And now he's got to go
I
through
think,
the alumni committee. And now hearing reports of players that played with him saying that he may not be the right person to go into Cooperstown. Gosh, man, that rubs me a really uncomfortable way.
again, man. I mean, is he judged on his merit or what he did on the baseball field, or is he judged because of his character or his personality? Let's keep it
Okay,
gangster.
that's it. Yeah,
Look. Michael Jordan. We just saw the documentary on Michael Jordan. Everybody in the world watched that documentary.
Yeah. It's a whole nother side of Mike.
Scottie Pippen hates Michael Jordan. Hates him. You're not gonna have fanfare in your locker room when you're great. I've seen too many documentaries just saying all these great players, they weren't loved by their coworkers or their teammates, and they weren't loved by a lot of people in the media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't negate what he did on the baseball field. We had this argument last week. When the ball was juiced, let's call it the juice area or juice era, whatever they want to call it. Dude, They did so much for baseball and the popularity of baseball.
Everybody was
It's
locked in. Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah. We was locked in.
And now baseball's going to turn its head on it. Now those guys are no longer in here. But you weren't saying that when they were doing it. Let's be perfectly clear. Now I know the Balco thing was the lotion. They said it was undetected and all that other whatever stuff, but somehow it got detected all of a sudden. When those guys were hitting home runs, why weren't you testing them then? Why weren't you suspending them at that point in time? Why weren't you saying something at that particular time when it was actually happened and you could visibly see it? Why weren't you doing something then? But now, all of a sudden, the accolades is over, or the juice ball's kind of the wear and tear on those guys are starting to retire, and they're not bringing you the money they made, or they were juicing. You need to testify in front of the federal committee. And you need to do this and you need to do that. Again, bringing more publicity and more notoriety to baseball.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was negative or whether it was negative or positive, they brought so much notoriety, marketing, and information about baseball. No one even was caring about it at the time. I'm sorry right now. You can take that juice era, and you can take now, and I take the juice era every time if I'm gonna watch baseball. And I don't watch baseball. I think baseball's slow. But when they was playing, I watched baseball, man, because you didn't know when them dudes was gonna be hitting home runs or when they was going to be breaking records. Now you don't even. It's not even. It's whatever. It happens. 34 home runs is a lot of home runs, and we're like, man, that's whack. Because we were there when it was hitting 70 home runs.
You know, you don't know nothing about hitting the ball 420 feet. You know,
yeah. But I know it's hard. I know it's supposed to be physically impossible to hit two circle objects square. I know that's impossible, so it's a great thing that you do. Don't negate baseball objects. I think that there's some great athletes like everybody else. But I'm saying to disregard that era of baseball and not let those guys in the Hall of Fame is sad, man, because they did so much for baseball. Remember, baseball was kind of a dying breed for a minute, man. No one was watching baseball for a while.
It's still conversation around baseball of how to speed up the game, right? You know, putting pitchers on a clock, on a 30-second clock when they get back to the mound. So there's still all those aspects, and you know, little seventh inning stretch, all these things.
I got the answer, bro. I got the answer.
What's that?
Let them use Balco. Let them use Balco. Watching the
kid. let them use cork bats and everything, right? Oh my god.
Hey, let them use Balco, man, dude. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not a big fan of baseball, but I'm gonna keep it real, man. That's Sosa, Ken Griffey Jr. I know he didn't take steroids, but Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, and Mark Aguirre, man, that era, man, right there when they was hitting the ball, man. For those 3 or 4 years, man, baseball was probably one of the most exciting sports. Period. That's when everybody was like, "It's America's game is back."
True.
Right? They were like, "It's back, it's back, it's back." And now we're back in baseball. Baseball's the afterthought. We were talking about it the other day. Baseball need to figure out a way to market themselves because they ain't getting no love.
And that's why I have such a hard. That's why I brought it up again. I had such a hard time with it because, man, I that was my life. Where I was the guy on the mound, right? And I just, you know, I grew up with, and I just to see the decline, and now to see something like this going on with at least one of the class that should get in. Ortiz, makes sense. All right, he went in. He was less confrontational than some of the other folks. You know, Schilling, you know, he's chock full of crazy. A couple other folks, but you know, even Cox is saying, you know, I think it's better chance for Bonds to get in with today's committee, being the alumni committee as opposed to the writers. And again, the writers are folks who never laced them up, so they don't even know. They just sitting around with eating their popcorn and eating their peanuts and never actually played the game.
But the alumni committee is biased too. I think in the instance that there are guys that played in that era that are probably jealous of what Barry Bonds and them were doing. Not favorable of what they did, think they tainted the game and all that stuff. I think people need to be realistic with themselves. In every sport, there's some form of doping done. Every professional sport.
Yeah, that's true.
And
folks are lying to themselves if they don't believe that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If you're gonna lie to yourself if you don't think there's some type of doping, whether it be steroids, whether it be marijuana, whether it be cocaine, whether it be whatever these people are taking to get themselves that edge in the professional sports, there's some form of doping in the sports. So to alienate this dude, but just because of that, he did it. Yeah, it was illegal, but remember, everyone was doing it. It wasn't like, hey, I'm the only one doing it and I got this huge advantage. No, the other 3 guys is batting 70 home runs with me is doing it too. The guys is pitching, 200 strikeouts a year. They're doing it too. Everyone's doing it. Now, let's take the same. Okay, when we did in that era of the field, what'd you do? I did something extraordinary that no one will ever do again. Ever. and you're gonna take away the saying that I'm not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry, steroids don't make you see the eye and it doesn't make you see the eye and make contact on the ball. That's something that's him.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire were good before they started taking steroids.
That's true. Hey,
they were good before then.
Barry was good in
So
Pittsburgh too. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If you want to erase that era where they said they took steroids and say, okay, right there they took steroids, do we think they were Hall of Fame? Absolutely yes. Bass Bridges in Oakland, yes. Mark McGwire was going to be a Hall of Famer. Sammy Sosa was going to be a Hall of Famer before then, and so was Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
So was Curt Schilling. So was all those other guys. If you just cut off that part,
Roger Clemens. I mean, the Rocket. Yeah, I mean, he was a bad man up there on the mound. Yeah, he should be in the hole.
So now you're going. That's your excuse, and then your excuse is he has a bad attitude. He wasn't a great teammate, or he doesn't really favor for the media. To me, then you're poaching on why he shouldn't be in there, and you're nitpicking at every little thing that shouldn't. And I think it's going to be sad for people not to know the greatest baseball player of all time is not in baseball, and that's Barry Bonds.
Exactly. Right here, right? Take Barry's stats from when he was a rookie to 1998. He's Hall of Fame, period. Quint has an interesting Screwball is such a crazy story that said the battered bastards of baseball was also a good story and shows how baseball can ruin good things. I'm gonna check that out, man. Appreciate you for bringing that up. Is that on Netflix, Hulu? I mean, how many subscriptions I gotta have, man? You know, I'm trying to cut back on some of these subscriptions this year, man. If I can't get it on for free, I'm a YouTube guy now, right? If I can't find it on YouTube, I don't know if I'm gonna be checking it out. I'm gonna end with two stories that I didn't even tell you about, and they're actually feel good stories. Two of them. But let me hit you, man. What you got in the sports world or the social impact world around sports that you wanted to talk about?
The only thing I want to talk about, man, is a young brother at the high school game. I don't know I don't know if it's a national story or just a local story, but here in LA, there was a young African American man playing basketball in a game. Was running out to go to his team, and then the fans were shouting racial slurs at him, called him monkey, called him all kind of different things, talk about where he go to the zoo and all these other different things. The media got hold of it. Obviously, it's a big story here, and there was a general. I said so. After all that, they dealt with the situation. The person that was yelling the slurs, the school kind of reprimanded them, all that. But then after that, a couple of days later, it was four gentlemen from a thing that approached the young man and gave the young man a $20,000 scholarship and say, hey, we want to help you, support you, whatever you do, and we want to help just to fight social and racial injustice. Man, I thought that was the most feel-good story that I've seen in a long time, that this companies and stuff stepped up to kind of give this young man $20,000 for a scholarship, and also to make sure they promoted the fight. They wanted to fight against racism and racial injustices within the LA community. So I thought that was big.
That's awesome. I'm looking for that story, and I think I just found it right here. So yeah, high school basketball player who was targeted of racial slurs during the game, gifted $20,000 for college. So that's chain him up. Where's your slave owner? Okay, so this is actually why he's playing.
Yeah, that's why he's playing, man. It was crazy. So
wow.
You know, from our day, I would have stopped.
Yeah, I'm just trying, you know, because we'd have ended the game, and you know there'd have been some, there'd have been some melee happening. To be honest with you, okay.
Yeah, the fact that this brother, he was able to ignore it, continue the game, and those were the gentlemen. I forgot where they're from, but they're from a company somewhere here in LA, and they were able to really, you know, gift the brother $20,000 for what he endured, and they really were preaching, you know, like I said, you know, against racism and social and racial injustices. And they were able to, you know, award this young man to be, you know, to further his career, his college career, man. And I thought that was just a really, really good story to end. And, you know, started off bad, but it ended up really well in his favor and a really good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I always look at all sides of that, and I worry honestly about the individuals who were the ones making those statements in the stands and what's going to come of them, right? I mean, this is definitely going to be negative for them, and they're going to
slap on the wrist, man. You asking if something going to happen?
No, again, and that's where I'm going, right? Again, we need to do better. We, as a society, we need to do better. First and foremost, again, back in the day, if you were up in the stands and you were acting a fool like that, somebody's grandmother or somebody's auntie would have knocked you in the head for making crazy statements like that. And I'm gonna be curious to dig into this story. What's that?
More than that, I mean, where does that come from? You know, that's a behavior. That's a behavior that's endured and tolerated. To me, I'm gonna say believe it at home.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that's believed that's tolerated at home. That those comments and things saying things like that, those are things you just don't say out of the ordinary. Where's his chain and where's the slave master and all that stuff, unless that's tolerated at home. In my opinion, this is my
Right.
opinion only. So you know, we got to do better as a society to be able to, you know, find out the root of the problem and hopefully get it changed. You know, or make an impact. But I think what's going to happen to this young man is he's going to get suspended. He's probably going to have to do what some racial bias training. You know, the BS video they make you watch,
Yeah. Yeah.
talk about some things like that, and then move on. To me, you know, to me that's not enough personally. But then I also understand. I mean, what more the school's gonna say? What more you think you can do? And it's not. I think it starts at home. What you can do at home. Because
Yeah.
I know if my son or my daughter was making those things, they're gonna catch. You know, they're gonna catch hell when they get home
Definitely.
for doing that. I
And
don't think he's
I
gonna.
think
I don't.
you're
I don't know if he catches hell. Though.
yeah, I think again it's an upbringing thing, and it's your kids wouldn't even fathom something like doing that, right? Again, because you've trained them well. They got the home training. They know what's right, the difference between right and wrong, and know not to go to do that crazy boundary right there and do something like that. So, but where again is that parent? Where is both parents? Where is that support system? The aunts and the uncles and the cousins and all folks around them and the friends. You know that there was a friend of the group of whoever was saying that who was uncomfortable with it but was doing it
Mm-hmm.
as well. And again, people feel bad. Here's Quint saying, people only feel bad when they get caught. Unfortunately, it's
Mm-hmm.
often way too obvious when you hear the apology later, right? I mean, and that's it right there, right? I'm out here doing it. No one can hear me nor see me. I'm doing it underneath my breath, right? I'm leaning down, but it's wrong. I'm talking to the individuals that are out there doing
You
it,
know,
and
and I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't. I'm never gonna persecute a 17-year-old
mm,
for his actions because he doesn't know any better, right? He's young. You just don't really know. You know better, but you don't know better. You
yeah,
think things are funny, think things are stupid. You know, you're laughing and you're doing all these things. But like you said, when you know when you're crossing that line. Like it's a one thing to make a joke. You know, we've all been around when people make a insensitive joke. It is what it is. Okay, kind of laugh it off. But when they cross the line
yeah,
by saying words, you know, and continuing to do that, I think that's where the problem. Because obviously, you say those things to get a rise and get a response from somebody,
hmm,
whether it be your friends or whether it be somebody, you know, you want to get that response, and that's why you keep doing it. If they say, hey, you know, they called him the N word, oh, you know, his friends are don't do it again, do it. They're trying to get that response, and he felt he was okay using that kind of language and doing those types of things. I feel sorry for the young man. I feel if he does that situation in the wrong area or the wrong time, he's gonna catch something from somebody that's gonna be really offended, and it'll be just due. I hate to say it. He's gonna say that if he continues that behavior, he's gonna say that in the wrong area in the wrong environment, and
yeah.
somebody
It's not
is
gonna go.
gonna
It's not gonna
stand
be a
up.
good look. It's
It's
not
not
gonna
gonna be
turn out
nice.
well. It's not gonna. There's some
Yeah, it's
folks
not
out
gonna
here
turn
who
out
have
well.
nothing to lose, and
Yeah,
you use this as an example. Mr. Cox, appreciate you for sharing the link to the gentleman who made that donation to the kid there. I like the fact that that man is well connected, hangs out with the Wades. I like the fact he's got the Kings hat right there. So shouts out to Sacramento. So he's a good dude. I get it. All right. He's got a little what that? What do you call it? The Angry Monkey NFT. So he's out there
hmm
investing in the new cryptocurrency. So shouts out to that. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Single mother graduate, peopleless. So right. So he knows, right? He's been down. He's been counted out and saw a situation and stepped in the gap and said, I'm gonna try to make a difference. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this man some flowers right here. Look at that. He from Sac.
absolutely.
He from Sac. So right? He from our town, brother. Come on now. I'm gonna find him.
So
Um,
he good people. Yeah, we need to bring him
yeah,
on the show. We need to get him on the show.
yeah. We
We
gonna we
definitely
gonna
need to get
we
him on
gonna
the show.
you know what? I'm gonna follow this brother. We gonna find him. We gonna have him team no sleep, and we gonna give him his flowers while we can. Um, that's all right. That's all right. Good story right here too, man. Uh, Andrew Jones underwent treatment for leukemia. Star player, Texas, playing basketball. He's getting that NIL money that we've talked about from day one, day zero. We talked about NIL day zero, so we the originators of the conversation. So shouts out to Team No Sleep and Montel Allen on that. But he is donating part of his NIL money to cancer research. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's what we initially were saying. What are these young kids out here, 18, 19, 20, whatever, at this age that are getting money, getting paid for their name, image, and likeness? How are they going to adapt, and how are they going to be responsible with all this cash coming into their pocket? This young kid right here, again, basketball player, and Andrew Jones, went through some stuff, went through some things, right? Not just out there on the court, but went through treatment, and is using some of the money that came into his pocket to look after others as well. So I just wanted to give him some props on that, and some shots on that. I didn't see a picture of him. There you go, right there, Andrew Jones, number guard for
Mm-hmm.
for the Texas Longhorns. So there we go. I just it's a great story. I think.
I think that's just a great. That's a great story, man. I
Yeah,
mean, for him to donate part of his money to fight cancer for cancer research. For him, to be affected of it, infected with the disease and be able to overcome it. Man, I just think, wow, that's just a great feel good story, man.
yeah.
That young man has his priorities in the right spot, right place. He just got me to vote for him on some brackets now for sure because of the story.
Right, because
We get to the
we always
tournament
we
bracket.
worried about that, right? From day zero
Yeah.
when we had the conversation, we worried about how these kids were going to act and react now that you got this big wad of cash in your pocket because you done gone down to the Church's Chicken and did a quick
Mm-hmm.
little bagging of food for folks, and because of
Yeah.
you're good at what you do. But here this man is giving back some of his money to
Yeah.
cancer research.
This is one of the good stories, man. I hope we hear many more of
Yeah,
these. But we both know that it won't be a lot of these good. It'll be some, not a lot.
yeah,
These good stories. And I'm glad they're putting it out there, man. I'm glad this young man, is putting money where his mouth is, but also he's putting it where he was affected at.
yeah,
He knew how to fight through this. He knew what this is, and he knows what these people need or other kids need in order to overcome it.
yeah,
So why not? Hey, if I can help another kid overcome this, like I did, because I'm a commodity, right? I'm a basketball player
yep.
that's probably gonna go to the NFL. I'm a commodity, and I know what it takes to get over this. Let me donate some more money to help the next man get over. So that's just giving back, man. Shouts out to that young man. I wish him the very, very best, and I hope he fulfills all of his dreams and his aspirations to get to the next level.
There it is. There it is. Now, Kevin, hold on. You talking about this JJ dude runs Melon? The hat. If that's the case, I need to talk to him about why them hats cost so much. Have you, Montel? Have you looked at them hats? It's some dope
No,
hats. I'm not gonna lie to you. They waterproof, water resistant. They got holes in it so your head don't sweat. And it's some dope hats. But
uh-huh.
remember when we brought up the Brady store and Tom Brady's gear, and it was like
Yeah.
$75 a T-shirt. That's how much these hats are, man. Look, I'm selling my hat for what I think it was $25. Okay,
Uh-huh.
let's we gonna do this online right now. Hold on, let's see how much are these melon hats. Let me make sure I type the right thing into. Oh my gosh, look at that! You see that number, $75? Hold on, you want a hat? The A Game
$75 for
Hydro,
a hat.
$59 for a hat. Come on, man. We need to get him on here to talk about the pricing right there. Let's be more inclusive. $59 for. See, that's dope right
Man,
there.
I wear
I
no
would
hat before
rock
I
that
spend
Heather Gray
$60 on
right
a hat.
there.
Hey,
Customize it, everything.
I'll wear no hat before I spend $60 on a hat, brother, man.
Come on,
That's
man.
just me.
I know,
I can't rock with it.
man. I can't do it. I want one, but
But I'm gonna
I
support him.
can't.
I'll support him all the way, man. I'll support him all the way. I'll tweet it out for the people that can't afford it, but
Yeah,
I just can't be the one.
send us some Venmo. Look at mine. You got a gift card? Do you have a gift with him? Well, if you want to send something over to melin.com, get your boy one of them Heather Gray hydro. No, that's too much money for a hat, man. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah.
See,
Hey, I say
I'm like
spend
a
that $60
squirrel.
somewhere else, man. Don't send me no gift card, man.
Yeah,
Go help
come
that
on,
dude
man.
down there. Yeah, help that dude with the $10 meal at Taco Bell or something like that. Get him
Gosh,
a taco
no.
every day. They're
Yeah,
hungry.
let's get him on the show and see if he'll give some out to the giveaways for folks on the show. Last
There you
story
go.
that I had that I wanted to touch with you as well, because I think this is cool, resonates. I'd rather end on some good notes. We've had so many uh, challenging stories over a while, and this is something that I didn't expect, and I think it's actually pretty cool. All minority broadcast team making history at Torrey Pines, covering
Mm-hmm.
this golf event. Listen, this is what's up, right? We able to get in the front door. We able to be on the green. We able to, now we able to cover the event, and it's an entire
Mm-hmm.
minority team. So you got couple of brothers out there. You got a Hispanic young man right here out there doing his thing. Look at him walking around. Got his Golf Channel swag on, microphone and everything, out here showing representation at a highly exclusive event.
Mm-hmm.
Torrey Pines, look, you still can't just roll up on Torrey Pines like you don't have no sense, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be invited, and you gotta know what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. But to be out there and to have some inclusion from a coverage perspective, I thought this was just a really neat thing. And again, just to see that this is the new Tiger Woods, right? This is, again, folks seeing that we can be out there. Other folks that look like us, that look like anyone else, that look different, can be all that we want to be, and can do whatever it is that we want to be. So I just thought this was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it just shows how far we came in that sport sporting the golf.
Yeah,
Where before I mean Tiger Woods was groundbreaking. Obviously Calvin Peete before him,
yeah,
but I mean Tiger
yeah.
Woods was really groundbreaking when he came into the sport. And now it's kind of we're going with 20 years later now. Not only a part of the sport, we're covering it. We have analysts in it that look like us. We have analysts that are black and brown that are covering the sport. And the sport is very we still support it financially. There's a lot of people that play, a lot
Yep,
of African Americans, a lot of Latino
that is
men that
true.
play
That is
golf.
true.
So now, I think they're just starting to realize our dollar counts as well in that sport. Tiger Woods was able to push it onto the next millennium, as far as people being interested and giving it a big boost as far as marketing and money's concerned. I think just shows how far we came, and shout out to the PGA, man. I mean, come
Yeah,
on, where they're doing it and they're allowing it to happen, man. More shots out to it, but you got to think though. I don't want people to forget. Just 65 years ago, you know, we weren't allowed to be on the course.
that's true. That's
Some of the
true.
places, so I would say 60, 75 years ago, yeah, we weren't allowed to be on these courses. We weren't allowed to get in the front door. So the fact of the matter that we come 75 years, my mother's lifetime can see where we were, where they weren't allowed in the door, to now we got guys covering it and playing in the event. Man, that just shows that we are making progress. It's slow, but we're making some progress, which is great.
That's true, and I like shining the light on progress, and again, a small step here, but it's a relevant step, and they need to be celebrated, and this is the place to do it. So really, really cool, folks. Team No Sleep, right? You see what we do? Come on now, this is where it's happening. We got Montel Allen over there, man, and he got some things to talk about every single week. So make sure you make sure you subscribe. Make sure you part of the family. You part of the community, because we're gonna bring it every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we're gonna talk about things that matter from a social impact of sport. We appreciate y'all for being part of the crew, being part of the journey. We just gonna continue to try to get better each and every time that we do
Yep.
it. Montel, take us home, man. It's all about you, brother.
Man, count your blessings, man. This is also not only this Black History Month, it's mental health awareness, man. Please
Yep.
call a friend, a family member, just check up on them. Right now we're still in those trying times with COVID, and things going on, man. Just make sure you check up on your loved ones and the people that surround you, man, just to make sure they're okay, and then we get through this year, 2022. God bless everybody. Stay up.
Y'all be good. We out. Appreciate you now.